2, 1. Good.
All right, let's see if we can find us on here.
Start recording.
Yes. God, can you believe it's already 21 days that we have been doing this? That's kind of crazy, isn't it?
The recording just barely started.
I know. So, welcome everybody. Day 22 so far. And Kate was saying yesterday how she was pretty surprised at how many we've already done, especially considering the fact that I believe we've missed at least one day, if not a couple of days during the week when we very first got started. And then we don't even do this on the weekends. And we're already at day 22.
And we've been doing this the entire time. Most of the time we've been out of school. We haven't been doing it the entire time.
Not the entire time that you've been out of school, but we started shortly after.
I feel like it's been 1 month of homeschooling.
Well, that's because it hasn't been quite yet.
Well,
Almost.
how long?
I think you guys have been home for 3 weeks.
We started.
We've been home for too long.
Yeah, I
We
agree.
started at February.
You started in
the
February?
homeschool-
Nope, it was in March. It was in March. It was the first weekend of March.
Because I remember
So.
getting, yeah, it was like sometime during March because I remember I was at school and we did the Valentine's Day thing during Valentine's Day.
Yep. Yep.
At least I think it was Valentine's Day.
Well, Valentine's you did when I was in Tucson. Remember? I was coming home from Tucson. All right. So, yesterday, you guys, we talked about files.
Wait, no,
and
actually, I think it was the,
are you still on this?
what day was Valentine's Day on?
February 14th.
So then,
It was 2 weeks later because it was in March, honey.
okay.
So anyway, so yesterday we talked about filing, and filing, why is that such an important thing? What do we do with
Because
filing?
if you have something pokey,
Like a wire or something like that?
just barely got cut, like this has a bit of a point at it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pokey, you would file it down
Yeah,
with a nail file.
with a nail file. You know what?
No, I'm
Sometimes
kidding.
people do use nail
I mean,
files.
you could.
Yep, you can. So just depending on what material you're working on and how hard that is, then you can use nail files, and it's quite common to use nail files. Matter of fact, you'll find in a lot of metalsmith studios the nail buffs and things like that, the ones that have multiple sides on them, because they will go through and quite quickly remove some of that metal when you get to the finer part. So, and that's really where sanding comes into play. So filing, you are going to remove a lot of metal, and sometimes very quickly, just depending on what you're doing. Yes. Are you on task?
Yeah, well, I want to ask a question.
I didn't think so. Okay, ask your question. Hurry fast.
In Doctor Who, with those things, like they go did they say
Exterminate. The Daleks.
Exterminate.
Such a bum. Okay,
What
anyway.
did you do?
So back on task. Away from Doctor Who. Anyway, so what we want to do is you want to kind of take your filing to the next step, and that moves you into sanding. Okay, and why would we want to sand something? I just said it. Why would we want to do it? What does it do?
If something's pokey, you sand
You're like
it
hanging
down.
off the side of the...
Yeah,
The thing.
remember them like bumping into you now.
Yeah, you're okay. So anyway, so sanding is going to be our next step of finishing. So we're going to go through with a number 2 file, a number 4 file. What's the difference between those? Do you guys remember? Number 2 and a number 4 file, or number 6?
They're different, like, what's it called?
The teeth?
Yeah, no, but like,
I think
Yes.
did that.
can I pull off whatever this is?
In just a second, yes, I will have you do
I
that.
wanted to do
Well, there's 2 sides.
Yes.
So anyway, so yes, you've got finer and fire.
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 Fire and fire.
We do like fire in the studio, actually.
We sat out by the fire.
Don't you like fire in here? Oh no, no. As
place
long as
could
you can,
explode.
as long as you control it, you're good to go. So anyway, we do like fire in here, but we also like files that get finer and finer. Now, once you get into like the 4 or the 6, you can remove quite a bit of those marks left over from the previous files. And then you might still have a few little minute scratches. And believe me, those become very apparent if you were to go from like a cut 4 or maybe even a 6 and go straight to a polish. You are going to see those fine file marks that have been left.
I have one.
So what you want to do from there is then you want to start into your sandpapers. Now, depending on where you ended with your files is going to kind of determine where you start with your sandpapers. So if I only go through a cut 2, I might jump over to a 320 sandpaper. I don't know that I'd have to go down to a 220, but I might. Now, girls,
I
there's...
have something I want to say.
Okay. Is it Doctor Who related?
No.
Okay, what is it?
The unicorn of the week.
Oh, come on.
We still have Gemma.
They know.
Oh, goodness. All right, put Star back over there. Anyway, so, Kiara. Anyway, so what we have is then you can use your sandpapers. Now here with the sandpapers, there's a bunch of numbers. So if I start off with an 80 grit sandpaper, okay, and 60 grit, and there's even a 30 grit. All right, and depending
What
on,
about 100 grit?
there's 100 grit as well.
What about a
So let me
1,000
ask you this.
grit?
Oh, definitely 1,000 grit. Some of them will go up to 30,000.
What about a million grit?
I have never seen one that goes up to 1,000,000 grit, but it might be.
For every grit, then I'd have $1 million.
So what is it talking?
about a
Okay, but wait.
infinity
But you can't have that. What is it talking about? When we talk about 30 grit or 50 grit or 100 grit or 60. So you've got 30, 60, and then we get into 80. There's 100, 120, 220, 320, 400, 600, 800, 1,000. Those are kind of your typical sandpapers. What does that mean? Okay, stop. Shh. Yeah, okay. Well, it definitely, but which one's finer? So let me show you guys. Here is,
I think my hair just
No,
fell
The
on
higher the number, the finer it is.
the higher the number, the finer it is. So what it's talking about is how many particles, basically, you can kind of think about this, particles per inch, let's say. All right, so if I have 30 particles per inch, those particles are going to be bigger and they're going to be more coarse, all right? And they're going to have more grit to them, so they're going to be a little bit more aggressive. So Kiari, here is one that, this is probably like a 60, all right? So feel this and then feel this one. I don't know what this one
You can
is.
even like pull your hand off this one.
Right. It's very, very gritty, right? Now feel this one. Okay. Both of them you can feel have an abrasive to them, correct? So they both have the ability to reduce and remove metal or materials, smooth things out.
Would it be blah, blah.
Would it
Would
be-
it be a good nail file?
Yes, it would be a good nail file if you want to remove your nails very quickly. If all you wanted to do was smooth your nails, then I would definitely not use that one because, like I said, this is like a 60 grit sandpaper
This
here.
one doesn't
Wait,
look
you
like it
actually
would
need your
be.
nails? I thought you didn't.
No, I've been working in the studio. My nails are kind of hashed right now.
I got it.
Okay, so we have a number of different types of sandpaper and grits and everything like that. So here, for instance,
Sandpaper.
it is, and I'll show you guys that in just a second.
You
sand-
cut it.
Okay, shh, can you give me just a minute and I will show you.
The sandpaper.
So, what I have here is I have an assortment of sandpapers that I bought from Micro Tools. So this is over at toolcandystore.com and there's
Yeah.
huge assortments.
The wind is blowing
Hold on.
towards me.
Okay, and this
smells
assortment I think had like 250, 2,000. So this one had 2 or 3 of each of the grits. And so it takes me from a very, very coarse grit. Let's see if I can kind of fan this out here. And of course it doesn't want to because it is so gritty. So very, very coarse, I start with 180 and I go up to 3,000 grit. So here, feel the difference between this, girls.
This is like
Okay.
normal, like you could draw on it almost. It feels like.
Yeah, you could, you know what, you could totally sharpen your pencil while you're drawing on this one. Okay, so but feel this.
Banana draw.
Okay, and feel
Can I
that.
try it?
Ow.
Okay, so as you get to those higher numbers, it's talking about how many more particles you have per that measurement, whether we're saying a square inch or whatever else, right? And so as we get finer and finer, it's going to smooth things out a little bit better. Now, as I get finer, is it going to take me longer to remove my metal? Or is it going to remove kind of at the same rate?
Wait, what about the purple one?
I'll talk about it in just a second.
So the finer it gets, like
The softer it is.
yeah. So it's gonna remove it's gonna remove smaller bits.
Yes, it will remove smaller bits. So when you are working on sanding something, and we talked a little bit about this before when we were doing something earlier last week. When you are sanding something, you're gonna sand up and down in one direction. And then the next time you change your grit, what do? You change your direction, and then you're gonna go perpendicular to that. And the reason for doing that is what?
To get rid of them and not fill it up with other stuff.
Sharpen them?
Right, and it allows us to really see.
Or you could
Not
like,
to sharpen.
Or you could like have a design that goes sideways maybe.
And you want to know what? That is something else. You can totally use this for design. Okay, so a lot of times, and we talked about it one time too, we said, all right, you can take your piece and you can sand it and you can actually do a high finish polish, and then you can bring it back and you can sand it again. And what does that do? And why would you take it to that high polish finish first?
To make it shiny.
Okay. You remember?
Because you need to get like the nicer finish.
Right, okay, so when we take something to that high polish finish, we've given it a nice overall even surface, right? Then what we do is by pulling it back, so we take it to that high polish, we pull it back to like, let's say a 600 or an 800 or something like that. That is going to allow us to have a matte finish or a brushed finish, but it will still leave that surface underneath where it was nice and smooth and even. Okay, so you always want to at least get it to smooth and even. Like, you don't have to go to that high polish finish and then bring it back, but by doing so, it's going to give you a better finish on the end of it. Okay, especially if you're after kind of that brushed or matte look, that's something that you would want to do. So let me swap our cameras here. Let's get our camera set up here just a bit. Squeak. Well, this will be kind of close. So let's talk about some of the things that we have here on the bench. Okay, so here you see that we have a whole variety of things. Okay, we'll move this out of here for just a second. We have a whole variety. Now, some of these things I have purchased. Why do you think this would be handy?
To get into like curved spaces.
Yeah, so if I've got a ring or a larger curved space, this would be something that I would want to have. Okay, and as you can see, where'd you go? Kate snuck off. Anyway, as you can see, I have, again, various grits of these.
Is that sandpaper?
They are sandpaper, so feel it.
Just grab your piece like, do you have a ring that's round that?
A
needs
ring
to be
that's round?
sanded?
Here, you could try this spinner ring that we did a while back. But yeah.
You could grab it and then you put it on and then you twist it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So yeah, so you would be able...
Now it has like a cool scratchy type of design on
It does kind of have a scratchy design in there now, doesn't it?
Can
But
I
yeah,
do
so
it?
you could come in here and you would just, you can round it around like that, or you can kind of go like this on here. And whichever one you do is going to change kind of how
Now
that
it
pattern
has
looks.
a kind of really cool design.
It's definitely very scratchy in there. And that is because we have a coarse grit or a fine grit.
Sharp grit.
A coarse grit. Nope, this one is a very coarse one.
Sure.
Like if you were to do it with this one, you feel this one, you barely feel anything. Okay, so the thing I like about these, okay, two things. One thing I don't like and one thing I do like. One thing I don't like about these is that the sandpaper can wear down quite quickly. The thing that I like about these is that all I have to do then is tear this one off and re-glue another one on here. Okay, so they are available like this, and then I like them because then I now have my mandrels, and that's easy. You can also just take a wooden dowel and you can wrap your sandpaper around it. And some people will take like a wooden dowel, and I looked for one that would work well, and I didn't have one here in the studio that would work well for this. But you can take rubber bands and like make it really, really tight and hold it all into place. Okay, and people do that with rubber bands on the paint sticks as well. So I just went over to my Home Depot. And
Home Depot.
yes, we've done a lot of painting in this house. So I actually had a ton of paint sticks. And usually when I'm painting anyway, I'll pick up like 1 or 2 extra paint sticks just in case, you know, I have to do my project in multiple phases or something. So I actually had some of these sitting around, and these are great as far as that goes. And I have a video that shows how I made this particular stick. The thing that's kind of cool about these is once this starts to wear down, so in this case, this is 400 grit, and I might be to the phase now where this paper just needs to be retired. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off, see if I can get this off of here, and I'm just going to remove this part of my paper, and I need something right here to get under this
I
staple.
feel like that's a waste when it doesn't need to be replaced though.
Well, but this does need to be replaced. This has been used for a long time. So this one does need to be replaced. So what I would do is I would now take off this outer layer, and see how I've scored this right here? Okay, I scored it when I created it. So now what happens is it gives me an easy spot. I'm gonna bend that over backwards, and then I can come in here and I can tear that off. Feel the difference between the new part and this part. Do you see how I can say that it needed to be replaced? So as you use your sandpaper, these gritty parts will come off. Okay. One thing that I did not do well on this, and I don't know if you guys can see this on the video or not, but it actually kind of bubbles here. I did not pull this quite tight enough. Now, why would that be an issue?
Does it like move while you're doing it?
It could move while I'm doing it, but if I'm trying to sand a piece on here, there's a curve here, and it can translate that curve to my piece. All right, so anyway, I'll link the video for this into the description of the video once we're all done filming and everything like that. But this is something that's very common to do, and it's nice because then I didn't have to stop and make a whole new stick. Right? And what I did was I labeled it here on the handle. So what grit is it?
400.
400. So it's very easy to see. What's that?
What is Kiara doing?
I don't know. Kiara's just having fun sanding a ring, I guess.
I'm trying to make a design.
Okay, so now here's another thing that I did. And again, this is in that same video. I took a piece of clear acrylic. All right. And I sprayed with an adhesive spray. I sprayed the acrylic, and I also sprayed the back of my paper. Remember how when we were doing some of that piercing, we were showing how to put your image onto a piece to pierce it with the jeweler's saw? And you remember that when we did the rubber cement, I put the rubber cement both on the surface and on the design, right? Mm-hmm. And you let them dry just a little bit till they're tacky. You don't want it to be completely dry, especially with the spray adhesive. But then what you do is you take it and you just set it on there. Now, my piece of sandpaper, pull one of these out here, was a little bit bigger than my piece of acrylic. See that?
Yeah.
So what I did was I took those cutoffs and I did the sandpaper or the spray adhesive on my paint stick. So this one, notice that it's not wrapped around. So I'm not going to have the adhesive or the aggressiveness on the sides, right? So I don't have that abrasive there. But at least I have a sanding stick, and this one is right up against that stick. So I do have that. When it comes time to replace this, what do I do?
You pull it off and put it on a new one?
Yeah, I can just pull it off, and a lot of times it'll leave a little bit of tackiness from that glue, which is perfect because then it makes it even tackier for the next item that you put on there. Okay, So that's a way to make your own. And like I said, I'll put links up to that video. And again, like I said, some people will just take a rubber band and then, they'll wrap it around their stick and then they'll do the rubber band thing. For me, I did not like that because then I have that rubber band that can impede things because there's going to be one up here and one down here, which adds some bulk up here. It works for some people and that's fantastic. I prefer to do it this way, and everybody's going to have whatever works well for them. Now, similar to this, yes, you did. All right, so similar to something like this, there are also options like this that are already available. Now, what you can do is you can buy these strips. You guys saw us playing around with these strips here, and Kiara figured out how to use these, huh, baby? So what you can do, this has like a little knob down here and it's going to open up these little holders or the little flanges or whatever you want to call those. So what I would do is I would take a strip. Now what happens if I don't know where to buy these?
We ask you.
You make your own. Look, it's a normal piece of sandpaper that they've just cut into, I don't know, maybe like 1.25 inch strip. Something like that. So you just make your own. And then once you have your strip, what you do is you'll bring it in and you just tack it in underneath one of these little sides, the little holders.
Binder clips.
Yeah, the little binder clips, that's a good term. And then once you've got it into the binder clip, I'm gonna hold it down tight and then I'm just gonna twist this and it will tighten it up. Oh. I tightened it the wrong direction.
Brilliant
Okay, so it helps to go the right direction.
Brilliant example, Mom.
Brilliant example. Well, and of course you have to do that on live video, so if you're gonna do it big, right?
Yep.
All right.
That's exactly what I was supposed to do.
Okay, let's try that again. Oh, there we go. Okay, so then I tighten that up. And now it is in place and now I have that ready to go. And again, I have a nice handle here. So I like these because the handle is nice and comfortable and I would still hold it kind of like a file and I'm still able to move around just the way I did before. So that is an option. Then there is, what are you doing? So Kiari is over here trying to mount this ring so that she doesn't have to hold it with her fingers and can have something else hold it while she sands. Good ingenuity, dude.
But she's still holding that then.
Well, it's okay. Okay, so here's another really cool tool that just came out. And I just did the video on these and I think I put it out a week or so ago. Okay, and these are, they're sanding sticks, I guess you could say. One is round and the other one is square. And the thing that's really cool about these is that I can come in and I can cut my sandpaper and all I need is just that little bit like that, right? And then you just kind of fold it around. And the way that I did it in the video, and I show in the video how I do this, I just kind of get it placed into position on the video. Yeah, that one.
Like a little moon.
It is like a little moon. So I get it where it kind of sits flat across it, and then you bring this down and it folds it right into place. So those are kind of cool because then I can just cut several of these strips, have them ready to go, and then all I have to do is pop it off, slip one out, slip the next one on, like so, and I'm ready to go again. So those are kind of cool.
Do you want to have it like at the bottom, top, in the middle?
Good question. I think it just is a preference thing. And you can also make these so that they're a little bit longer so it goes all the way to the bottom. So it just depends on how you want to make those. So those are from Fordham. And again, they are online at toolcandystore.com. The sandpaper pack that I showed you is one from Delray Tools, and it is also out on toolcandystore.com, and I'll post links for all of that as well. Now, another thing that you can do is you can also buy these emery boards or little sticks that also already have the sandpaper on them. The thing that's nice about these is that it is nice and tight to that stick, so you've got those crisp edges. But these are going to wear out pretty quick, but when they do, you just take off that sandpaper and you glue on the next layer and you're ready to go. Yep, and then you're good to go. All right, so there's a couple of different sanding things. Kate, why would we put it onto a piece of plexiglass?
Well, I was gonna ask you actually.
Good question, huh? So, matter of fact, I'm going to do something with you guys, and this is a new tool. Earlier this week, my friend Tanya Davidson, who is a jeweler, she does all kinds of amazing things, and she put out a quick tip video that used this clear tape. And this clear tape is something that's kind of cool. I mean, I'd seen it before and I never thought anything of it, because you know how like you see these videos and they're like, hey, look, this tool can replace this or it can do that and da-da-da. And you're like, okay, whatever, let's hear what the real truth is. But she had bought some and she showed how she made a sanding aid. And so I ordered some, and I've already got the link for this in the description. I just got it out on Amazon. It was like $13 or so, like for this roll. The thing is it comes, it's very, very sticky, okay, and it comes in different thicknesses. Now the thickness that we want for this one is the 2 millimeter thickness, and that's what's linked in the description of the video. So what we have here, man, that is sticky. So, and I'm just touching just the edges of this, but you guys, I mean, it's definitely like, there's definitely some thickness or stickiness to it. Yep, there you go. And we're just very little contact on that. So what she did was she took a little block of a clear acrylic. Now, it doesn't have to be clear acrylic. However, because I was about to show it to you guys in wood and say, look, you can use it on wood also, but then I got thinking about it. If you do it on a piece of clear acrylic, yeah, so peel off one side and I'll let Kiara peel off the other. If you do it on clear acrylic and you have clear tape, what's going to happen when you've got something attached to it?
It's gonna look like it's just clear.
You can see it, right? And that's a huge thing. Kiara, did you want to tear off this corner? There, it started right there. So you can see what you're doing. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's a little better idea. So we had, you guys, we had our piece that we drilled out the other day. And I had it here. Where did it go? There was that teardrop type of piece, and we put a whole bunch of holes into it. Wait, where did it go? It was here. Of course.
Use them on my video. Of course, it's always gonna happen.
Of course. Oh man, it was like the perfect item. Is it underneath the iPad? All right, who came in and stole it? Let's move some of our stuff off of here. Maybe we'll find it. All right, did you get the tape off that acrylic yet? All right, so the acrylic that I'm using, I found it. So remember this little pendant that we did, and we drilled all the holes, and it's really rough here on the back. Okay, so feel that. So remember, it's really rough on the back. So what we've done, or we have this, and what we're going to do by having that clear acrylic is, again, we're going to be able to see it. Hurry faster. Now, like I said, it doesn't have to be that clear acrylic, and I'm using a 1/4 inch thick piece. That's okay. It's not going to be a big deal. Can you hand it to me, please? Thank you.
I've become taller.
Hey, don't put it there. Okay, so what we're going to do, let me switch our camera.
I've become taller than all.
You're going to become taller?
I've
Okay.
become taller than all of you.
Yes, it would so seem. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this off of here. And there is a kind of a film on this side, and of course it just kind of lays here and it sticks next to this side.
It's like a gel.
Yeah, it does kind of, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so that little blue piece is here on this side, so we'll go right beyond it.
Take it and like squish it because it looks like it's really gel.
So I gotta zoom out just a bit here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little piece of acrylic and I'm gonna put it up against, oh, it is sticky. Now the thing that's kind of cool about this, you guys, is that when it loses its stickiness, you wash it off and it's sticky again.
Oh yeah, so it's almost like sticky hands.
Yes, only stickier. So here I'm going to take my pair of scissors. I'm just going to trim that. Thank you. Yep, you want to take that? And I'll trim this.
Like jelly.
It is. It's definitely like jelly.
Can I cut off like a little?
And look, we had dirty fingers.
I cut off like a little tiny piece.
No, you can have this little piece.
Oh, I definitely have.
Okay,
fingers.
yeah, we have dirty fingers, and look, now our tape is dirty. But that's okay. So anyway, I'm gonna remove this little film here that had that. And now what I can do, Kate, watch. We're gonna put it on top of our piece. See this? Because do you know how hard it would be to sand this piece? What do you think? Do you think that would be easy or hard?
Hard.
It would be kind of hard because it's pretty thin. But now I can just come in here, hold on to it. I'm not gonna sand down my fingernails. Not that I have fingernails to sand down at the moment, but it's gonna keep my fingers from hitting that sandpaper. Here, you wanna try it? Here, you try it. Oh, quit playing. We'll play with it later. We've got a whole bunch.
Can I have some?
In a minute. Okay, now pick it up and feel it. What do you think?
Oh, it's all smooth again.
Yeah, so now it's all smooth. It didn't take much to sand that down, right? Here, you try it, baby.
No, okay.
We're not doing this right now.
let's
No, we're not gonna do that right this second. Okay, so now here's another thing too. When you sand on something like this, the best thing you can do is sand into a figure 8. Why?
Oh, so it doesn't get it all scratchy.
Well, it'll get it all scratchy depending on which grit of sandpaper we have. But why else would we want to sand that into a figure 8? Any ideas?
So it gets smoother.
Well, even look here. Okay, look here. You see how we've got an area down here? Hang on, you're blocking it, honey. And please quit playing with it.
But I want
I will get you some after the video. But see how some areas have been sanded and some have not? That tells us one of two things. Either we have an uneven surface here on our piece, or we're not getting enough pressure down here. So
can I try
what you want to do is you want to kind of move around how you hold this. So it's beneficial
try?
to even move and swap
Can I do-
how you hold it. See that now?
Oh.
Okay, so now you try. There you go. Well, no, you want to go ahead and do figure 8s. You don't want it to be like, it's not like a little car you're driving. What? Felix, you can't type today. That's okay. We're having problems even talking and getting normal words out of our mouth.
English is great, isn't it?
Okay, so now once we've got this piece done, can you please let me demonstrate, Dingling? So let's pretend we got this whole piece done.
It's weird, it's stretchy.
Okay, so Kate's, she doesn't have it on the screen. So this is absolutely filthy. So it is hardly sticky at all at this point. Like there's a little bit of sticky to it.
Okay.
Okay, so go wash it off and let's see what it
But
does.
it's stretchy.
It is stretchy.
And it's awesome. And then it just goes back to its little square.
Okay, now guys, this is, as you guys know, this is the first time I have ever used this. So you guys just saw all of it. Now, one big thing that I did here that might be an issue. What do you think that might be, girls?
What?
So we have a lot of surface area stuck on here, okay? And remember I told you it was sticky? It's very sticky. So it's gonna take some work to get this piece off of this tape now because we had so much surface area that was stuck to that tape. So I can kind of see as I work it off on this side, like there's a bubble that's starting to form in there. And so I would just need to kind of continue to work and pry this off. So maybe you want to like start with smaller pieces, or you want to have pieces that aren't so flat that you're doing the sticky part onto. So when Tanya showed this on her video, she actually had a dimensional piece, okay, and she was just filing down the back of her piece. So her piece was not completely flat that she was attached to, so it was easier to get off.
And now it's back to sticky.
Is it sticky again now? Oh wow, that is like super sticky again. That's amazing. That's kind of cool. I think I've got a few uses for this in my house already.
You can use
I think I need to order some thinner stuff too though.
Here.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, so you'll just have to kind of keep working at it. Yes.
So what you could do with it is reuse it every time you do that.
Yeah, you could. You very well could. Okay, so we talked about the surface pads. We've now talked about kind of making your own little sanding aid with that.
Slipped out.
That we're definitely going to have to play with a little bit more. Yes, it did slip out. So we're going to have to play with that a little bit more.
Prying
So
things come in handy.
everything. Oh, there you go. A little pry bar. Hey, there you go. Awesome job.
bar?
So yeah, she used a bracelet blank and just kind of helped pry it up. So she used what? A lever.
Oh yeah.
Yep. We've been learning about simple machines like screws and wedges and
Well,
levers.
Now we're done with that.
Are you done with it now?
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's one of the things that you can use for that. And you guys can see, look at how well that adhered. I mean, you can see. And now all we have to do is wash this off and it'll be sticky again.
Whoa.
You think that's kind of cool? Yeah. Okay, so everything that I've showed you guys so far has been kind of by hand. Like they're bigger things, right, that you can use. Here, let me help you get that in there because it's so sticky. All right, comes in a nice little bag.
Do you keep it from...
Yeah, keep it clean. Okay, so everything that we've done has been used by hand. Okay, you also have the ability to use micromotors and flex shafts and things like that. So there's a couple of different attachments, and one that I just thought about that I don't think I've brought over here yet. Hang on just 1 second. Let me go grab something really quickly. Oh no, you're not supposed to pull the tape off of there, Ding-a-ling. Well, I mean, I guess you can. Oh, you're such a bum. Okay.
But I think
I'm gonna make you.
stretched it out.
I'm gonna make you pay for that.
What?
I'm gonna make you pay for that.
I didn't know.
Whatever. Okay, anyway, so let me move this out of our way as well. So we also have these items called split mandrels. Okay, this is just one option, and what you would do with these, they've got a little slot. So let's see if I can zoom you in on this camera. Let's see, there we go. So they have a little slot in them where what you do is you cut your sandpaper to maybe about 1 inch tall, and it can be however long, and then it spins around. So you would insert it like, well, let's see if I've got one here that we can work with. This is not a fantastic example, but it works. So what you do is you would put your sandpaper in here, and then you twist it, and you kind of make your little coil of that. And what happens is when you've got your motor running, it will then go to, it will, good job, it will work inside of your ring or along your piece, the edge, outside edge, or whatever. So we have a tapered one, and then you have a straight one. So both of those would work in your flex shaft machine or your micromotor or whatever else. Now, in addition to that, there are also some other items that are like, let me pull this out here.
You can do stuff again.
Yeah. So I did a video, I think last week, where I went through the accessories, the AK-11, not a gun, but an accessory kit, AK-11 from Fordham. Now, in addition to this pack, it also has that rotating burr holder, which is fantastic and I love. Well, this AK-11 has these little tiny barrels that are sandpapers. And it comes with 4 different grits. Thank you. It comes with 4 different grits, and there are 3 of each of them. And what you use these with, there is a barrel. Where are you? A little rubber barrel one. Did I not put him back in here? I must not have done. Let me grab it. So here we go. So you've ever seen like these little rubber barrels, and what you do is you just slip on the drum that you're using, and you tighten up your screw here on the end, and that's going to compress like top to bottom and make that rubber come out, and it holds it all into place. So that is another option that you have as well. Oh look, and now there's the one that I just, anyway, same type of thing. So we'll stick those there.
Don't let it down.
Okay, well let me show you, because, well, actually, this one's in here, so let me show you. Let's move this guy out of the way. We need safety glasses.
I just stole a
Oh, you stole a
gobstopper.
gobstopper. Okay,
Fixed it.
good job.
I even washed it.
Thank you. So here's the ring that Kiari has been working on.
Now,
Let me,
smell weird.
your hands smell weird now? All right, so let me pull this out here.
Towels.
You think so? Maybe I do need some new towels. All right.
They smell weird.
Oh yeah? Well, maybe you should go throw them in the laundry room.
This could hold your stuff for you.
It sure can. As a matter of fact, I actually am thinking I might stick a little strip of that on my bench, and will.
It's your tool holder. There you guys go. You get this stuff for your $13. This is your tool holder.
Yep, a nice inexpensive tool holder. Okay. So what we're going to do, here's the ring that Kiari has been working on. Okay, now pretend that I'm working at,
glasses are
they're right here. So if I were working at my bench pin, I would hold this up against my bench pin, but I don't have it right now. So what I'm going to do is I would just come in here, get my motor going, and I would be able to kind of work this just like so inside the ring. Does that help you understand how you would use that now?
Yeah.
Okay, now in addition to that, we also have, what?
I couldn't really look because I didn't want
You're fine. You have glasses on.
Okay.
So in addition, we also have, this is one of my favorite things. These are snap-on mandrels. So what that means, and these get kind of hard to snap on here. It's got a little square hole.
They should be hard to snap on.
And you want them to be hard because you definitely don't want these babies flying off at you. So they have a square hole in here. And then the top of our mandrel also has kind of like a little square shape here that's undercut. So what you can do with this is you line that up and you just pop it into place like so. Okay, and then we've got our little square there. Now this can go with the abrasive face down or the abrasive face up. It just depends on how you're going to work that. Yeah, I would throw that one away now.
That was on accident.
Wow.
Right there, and then it fell out.
Well, that teaches you from eating while we're doing this stuff, huh?
That was with my mouth open.
It sticks to
Okay.
But what did you do?
Good. I'm just swapping out this. So on this one, the sandpaper grit is on the underside. And when it's on the underside, that will allow me to use it so that I can come in on a piece like this. Let's see, make sure I'm still here on the screen. So I'm going to come in like this, and I can come in on the top of something like so. Okay.
Apparently people don't need to, not many people need to know how to use sandpaper because not many people.
We don't have a very big crowd today, do we? Maybe they're tired of us, I don't know.
The people who came today are the most awesome people.
I agree, especially the ones who stay with us. But anyway, so this is a really coarse one, and you can see that it's coarse. How can I see that that's a coarse one, Kate?
Because it made really fine scratches.
Yeah. Yes, it made the scratches. So now I can flip this over so that my sandpaper is now on the top. I was gonna say Ohio is Kate, but that's fine. Ohio can be Kate. So now when I'm doing it this way, now I'm going to work this direction. All right, and it allows me to kind of come in here and move it a different way than if it was underneath. So sometimes, depending on if I'm working like on prongs on a ring or something like that, let me grab a ring really fast that shows this. So if I'm, Kiara, you're making an awful lot of noise. So if I'm working on prongs, I would put the abrasive on the back side, and I can come in here and just kind of rub along the prong this way if I need to. Now, do you think I would use this abrasiveness on a prong? This is really coarse. I probably wouldn't. Okay, so they come in all kinds of sizes and shapes. Well, not shapes, they're round, but they do have they do have all sizes. I mean, look,
They come
so
in squares, in triangles, in rectangles.
But they do come in different grits and everything like that. Oh, that one's not all the way down.
What other shape? And
There we go.
hexagons.
But they do come in different sizes, and they come in different grits, and they come in different materials. So in this case, this is a film-backed paper. Okay, so these are really good. These are really good for doing things that maybe I need it wet, and they last a little bit longer. I like
I wonder
those.
what it'd be like if they came in different shapes.
I don't know. And then this one's a paper-backed one. So this is similar to like your typical sandpaper that you're used to. All right, does that make sense? So any questions on any of those?
I can move this down, kind of.
Now let me show you one other thing. So this doesn't have sandpaper on it. What does it have, Kate?
It's like one of those baths.
It's not a bath scrubby thing, it's felt. Why would I want one with felt? It's not sandpaper. Felt is not going to be aggressive. Hey, stop, Kiara. You are going to get hurt. Hop off.
I had a bag that I used for a year that was
Hop
made out
down.
of felt.
Will you please help her put this chair down? So anyway, you can also use felt. And what you would do is you would charge this. Kiara, you were making so much noise today, bub. Oh my goodness. So you would charge, okay, listen.
Down by myself a little bit.
Yeah, well, when you only weigh 50 pounds, you can't really get these chairs to go down.
Yeah, but I got it kind of. I could do.
How would that be to weigh 50 pounds? I don't even remember it. Anyway, so you can charge this with your polishing compound. You are like making all the cameras move, bub. No, we don't need any more of those. We've had plenty of those. So you can charge this with your polishing compound, and then you can go in and you can kind of hand buff and hand polish your pieces. So that is that. Oh, other things that I really like as well. You can also buy these polishing cloths or films, all right? And it's like a cloth or a material. You're like way too close to that camera. That's why it doesn't focus. But anyway, so look at this, Kate. Oh, you guys are like bums. I think the girls just might be done. You guys done doing the videos?
I want to
No, we're just done with quarantine.
Yeah, I think we're all done with quarantine. But anyway.
After a couple of weeks, we get bored and we're just dying to go outside and hang out with friends. At this point, we need human interaction with someone other than family.
I know. Hang on, we'll go out. Maybe we'll go for a bike ride in the rain or something. I don't know.
I wish
out of the house.
bike rides had like a button, and if you click it, an umbrella will go boop.
There you go. We should create bubbles, bike bubbles. And then we can like just
Did you know they made
put a
Well,
bubble
no,
around
I
our
said
bike.
I believe it was a hat that it'll come up and it literally sprouts out and just makes a giant umbrella that covers to your feet.
That would be kind of interesting.
They made it.
Well, just because you can doesn't mean you should. But anyway,
Well, it
so
keeps it dry, right?
they have these cloths as well, the abrasive cloths. And so yeah, isn't that interesting?
It makes me think of what is it?
I hate that texture.
You know what? During the winter, my fingers feel like this. I feel like I've got Velcro fingers.
There's a certain texture of fabric that I will not work with because I hate it.
It's
Is it the
like-
microfiber?
Yeah, and you gave me that fabric, and I'm just like, probably not ever gonna get used. The moment I get a chance to go to DI, I'm taking it with me.
Nice. Good to know.
So
And plus, it wasn't a very good color anyway. So.
Oh, I see. All right.
I can't remember.
An airplane or something. Okay. So anyway, so that at least covers.
Helicopter.
Okay, it's a helicopter. That
You
covers.
have
Okay.
it.
Shh.
It has two of those things.
Oh yeah, it's one of the military ones, huh?
It can be a ring too.
There you go. So we talked a little bit about nanotape and using our little soldering or our filing aid, and that goes thanks to Tanya Davidson for teaching us about that one. Again, we talked about now the Moore's discs, and I will link all of this stuff into the video as well. And yeah,
They asked.
was
It's said DI.
oh, okay. So yeah, DI. Yes, we're in Utah. DI is Deseret Industries, which is kind of like a Goodwill. So it's a thrift store where they don't really have them anywhere else.
Yeah. I guess
So-
Savers a lot more too. So Savers or DI, I don't care because I'm probably gonna have to go there to stock up on dolls later anyway.
Anyway,
Because as soon as quarantine's over, I'm probably gonna go through all of them.
you think so?
Possibly. I've only got a few more. I've got 2 more to customize.
Well, you're running out of room, dude. totally running out of room.
So I'm looking at
All right. So lots of different options for sanding. You can either buy some, you can create your own. You definitely want to have a good arsenal of sandpapers in your studio. You want to have a nice range, everything from 80 grit to more than that, you know, a little bit more. Louise, that is true. You guys do have some up in Washington. We had some we had one kind of in that Portland area when we lived there. We were just outside of Portland, Oregon, kind of over in the Washougal side. Well, we lived in Washougal. I was meant on the Vancouver side. Yep, Washougal, that's where we used to live. So anyway, guys, the girls are just kind of done. So I think we're done. So I think we'll call it a day. I've got some more work to do. Kiara's got a ton of homework to do.
No.
Yes.
It needs to be over.
Amen.
It's gonna be over soon, hopefully.
Quarantine needs to be over.
Is it supposed to be
Don't you
over
think?
soon?
Who knows?
I feel like it's gonna be over before school gets out.
It won't be.
No.
I mean, you guys are home for school for the rest of the year.
I know, but
Lucky us.
it's gonna be over before then.
All right, guys, you have a wonderful day. We will see you guys tomorrow. I have no idea what we're going to talk about yet. If you guys have some things that you guys would like to see, let us know. And this weekend, Kate and I have already decided we're going to sit down and kind of come up with a plan of things that we want to do, work on some projects,
I have
and
something.
find some more tips to share with you guys.
And it's gonna be like 5 minutes before the video. Oh, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, let's hurry.
Yeah, that's usually how that goes.
That's how it's gone for the past
I have
22
something.
days.
I have a surprise for you guys on Saturday.
On Saturday, we don't come in on Saturday. I take a day off on Saturday.
Yeah, and Sunday.
No, it's not homework.
Well, maybe we'll show them on Monday.
I have a surprise, but you can't show them.
Oh.
What is it then?
Surprise.
Well, you can't show them on Saturday.
Well, anyway, we'll figure it out. You guys have a good day, and we will see you guys tomorrow, 1:45 here again at Mountain Time. Bye.
Wait. I can't
What?
see. We've
What?
been doing this for 51 minutes, almost 50.
Okay.
Wait.
Goodbye, guys.